going to record. Oh, good. Okay, hopefully I have enough space in my computer. Good morning, everyone. So we did the introduction on the first chapter. How would we like to go? Should we read from first chapter, or should we just discuss if we had any questions or something?
Well, I just took notes on what spoke to me as I read it. You know, what did I get out of it?
Yeah.
Sure. What's he saying to me, and how can I apply it to my life or others?
That's
how I.
Yeah. Let's do that, because the recording is already there. We can upload the recording files. Anybody who wants to listen to recording, they can listen, and this is going to be just discussion. Yeah.
Yes,
that's good. Cool. So the first chapter, no compass, no map, life is mentorless land. Anything? What's your key learning? How are you going to apply? Anything you had questions, comments? Let's discuss that.
Well, we're talking about the first chapter?
Yes, first chapter at this point.
Yes. Although even when I was reading a bit of the introduction, some stuff that really, which I hadn't really heard about, although I remember watching a show on 60 Minutes about it actually, but it's this cross-generational mentoring.
Yes.
And I remember seeing there was a community and they put these young people amongst the old people, but it was more about them getting to help the old people and learn contribution, not really mentoring. But I thought it made a lot of sense, because you've got young people that have got new, fresh ideas and the world's evolving, and you've got old people that have wisdom from their learning. So together, it's I think it was a great combination, but it isn't really something that I've heard about, actually. You know what I mean? Yeah. I haven't seen it in action either, really. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I did. In Australia, we do have something like that. I worked, but it's more teenagers sort of helping out the preteens, 8-9. And I thought that's probably not the best idea, because teenagers themselves are probably trying to find themselves and not hitting the right direction all the time. And then are they good to lead the 9 and 10-year-olds? So, but I do see the cross-generational mentoring, which can be really beneficial for both.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, no, I thought that was really good. I mean, even through chapters 1, 2, and 3, it was a lot about really getting advice and support. And I'm jumping a bit, but it's just getting advice and support from others around us. And I think, you know, something was said about you're never successful on your own. You know, you're always going to have those people around you that are, I'm going to impart into your life. So you've got to sort of be open and vulnerable and share those things, which I suppose we're fortunate in the school, because we have access to mentoring and coaching while we're going through it ourselves. But just how helpful that is. So anyway, very good. It's sort of just some good little points. What about you? What did you get out of it?
So the introduction, similar things that when I did read about the cross-generational mentoring, that example came to my mind. But obviously that's cross-generational, and that's like within the same generation. It's teenager and the preteens. And I was thinking if that was actually suitable for us in here, but cross-generational would be much better, definitely. And then when I moved on to the no compass, no map, life is mentorless land, the first chapter, when I did make some notes, when this guy, what's his name, Eric? Josh.
Oh, Eric.
Yeah, and Josh swallowed her. What are you getting at, Eva? Okay, Josh, yes. So when Josh went to Eva, his boss, and then boss said, go and speak to Eric, who is the new dude who is doing really well in sales, and learn from him. So what happened there was Eva, as a boss, she just asked Josh what to do and then left it at that. I thought, coming from coaching background, as developing leaders and owners of coaching businesses, I think acknowledging, as a leader, as a boss, I would be acknowledging and preempting what he might be feeling, like how he might be feeling. That I'm asking Josh to go and speak to this new dude. Josh has been here for years and was doing really well until now. So I'm asking him to go and seek some mentoring from or advice from this new dude. And I haven't taken into consideration how he might be feeling. So I might preempt and say, I understand you might be embarrassed, or you might be feeling, like maybe not good enough, or whatever is the reason which will stop you from going ahead and seeking help from him. If you look at it this way, that if you for your success, you are taking knowledge and help and advice from anywhere it's coming from. It doesn't matter if the person is lower or higher in status or in experience than you in that sector. If somebody is doing well, you learn from them. And you focus on your growth rather than your ego that coming in between your growth and yourself and stopping you from asking for that help. Maybe something we can explore on that, just acknowledging that fear, acknowledging that embarrassment, and then future pacing, that when you learn from him, you would be much better off, honing your
sorry. Yeah, well, that's interesting, because what I actually got as I was reading that myself, how I felt as I was reading that, is maybe you're just not in the right job. Maybe you're. So I would have come from a position of, is there anything you'd like to talk about? Are you finding that, I would have asked some serious questions about, as a leader, I don't know what I would have said, but I just felt, as I read it, I thought, you're unmotivated, you've got no desire, you're waking up every day, and I thought, this isn't your purpose, because when you're on track, you're on fire, you know what I mean? Not every day, but you know what I mean? But the fact that he was, and it really, I felt it as I read it, it's like, whoa, you're, for me, I think if he was to dig deep, and because prior to going to that job, he'd had other really good job opportunities that he turned down because he thought this would be better, or maybe he thought this would be easier. I'm not sure. So maybe he's at a point of his life he needs to be stretched. And even though we don't like change, we don't like mediocrity, and we don't like it when we're not fulfilled in ourselves. So that's what I got from him. I would have, as a coach, I would have taken him on the path of, well, let's, would you like to come and have a chat, and let's talk about, let's just talk about a few things. And I would have dug deeper. And even his parents said that, remember those jobs that you got offered prior to this? Why don't you get your resume out there and, open some doors?
Now, definitely that too. I was coming more from, as a boss, maybe we need to acknowledge what fear is going behind asking a senior to go to a junior and ask for help and address that. And then, of course, as we move forward, so I was just looking at that as a boss, how probably we need to take into consideration acknowledgement and future pacing. So that's what I've written down. Yes.
Okay.
I do agree with the rest of the things, digging deeper, because as a boss, sometimes if we are always coaching our employees or team members, it doesn't always serve at that moment. I think it doesn't serve the purpose of that discussion. Maybe as we and the other thing that I've learned from Remy is that even before firing a person or showing him the exit, give him opportunity to find a place within the company so that he can move around, which Eva has done. Eva has said, maybe you can move into some other positions and see if that works for you. Yeah.
Yes, no, I completely agree. And I think like you say, acknowledgement and validation is something that's lacking a lot.
Yeah,
everywhere.
in leadership or positions where the owner, the boss, gives something to do like that. I'll quickly go through the 1 minute insight, pause, reflect, and learn.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you in your life? Are you on an upward trajectory, or have you hit a plateau? Do you feel uncertain about the directions you are heading? Are you open to learning from others? I think that's very important. Are you open to learning from others? And also, are you open to learning from who you think might be inferior to you, whom you think might be lower status in terms of knowledge or intelligence or something? Are you open to learn from them? Sometimes how we learn from the children, ego come in, are we open to saying sorry to kids when we make a mistake? So that will tell me how much ego I have. Am I able to get over my ego and humble myself and learn and accept my mistakes? Anything you would like to add?
I think when it comes to apologizing, like to my grandchildren, my children, I don't find an issue with that, because I think if I'm gonna manage that relationship, I have to be apologetic if I'm wrong. You know what I mean? If I've done something to offend them, and I think that teaches them, it teaches me to be humble. It teaches them also to, if you're wrong, just go and apologize. It's no big deal.
Yeah. Sure.
Learning from others that don't have as much skill as you, well, sometimes that can be difficult, can't it? You're saying, I don't know what you've got to teach me. And that's what I felt when you were saying that. It's like, yeah, I've had a few moments like that when I've reacted to it. So yes, I probably could learn a bit more humility there.
And that reminds me as well, once. Yeah, so okay. That's okay. I was hoping to attend a live seminar sort of, or a class sort of thing. And then I realized that it was actually not live. It was actually a recorded session, webinar. And then I really felt cheated and lied to, and then what happened was I just couldn't learn from that person anymore for a very long time, and I was struggling. Every time I saw the person, I was like, nah, you lied, I can't learn from you. Then I was talking to a friend, and she told me, nobody is perfect. Learn what works for you, learn what you need to learn, and move on. Take the best from the people, install the best in you, and also learn what not to do, what you will not do. So it reflects your values, so you don't do it. I thought that was a great lesson, great mentoring moment by my friend. And that was the time I would, the light switch flicked, and I was able to move forward. I was able to learn more from that person, and it benefited me. So
yeah. I can't think of a situation. I think I think from that perspective, sometimes I've had to learn to trust myself as well, which is sort of getting off track, but just in different situations. But yes, I know I've been around people, maybe even in real estate, where they've got nowhere the skill or expertise that I've got. And anyway, sometimes you go, I don't. It's what a waste of time this is. But and anyway, so that's a good one, and I think I'll be mindful of that. It's just when you said people that haven't got your skill, or maybe aren't at the same level in life, and because you're sort of always wanting to go for people above you so you can aspire and grow to that. So
Yeah.
looking the other directions, probably not something you do a lot. So it's a bit harder to deal with, I think.
Yeah.
Mm.
Good. Shall we move on to next chapter, or have we
Yes.
got more to discuss on this one?
Yeah, that was good. That was good what you said there. It's great.
Yeah. So asking for direction is the next chapter, which involves, I believe this is the one when
it goes to his parents' place.
His parents. When I was reading how his parents dealt with the situation, just giving him a listening ear, acknowledging, validating, I thought that's lacking in a lot of our parents, our parenting these days, where we probably suddenly, like always, try to give advice, or sometimes don't even acknowledge or validate our child's concern. So the way the parents dealt with that, very kind and listening to his issues, acknowledging and validating, was really great. That stood out for me.
Yes. What did I write down there? Yeah, I just thought number one, he chose people that he respected to go and talk to, people that he loved, admired, and considered them wise mentors, being his parents. They didn't answer it for him. They just asked a question, tried to get him to answer it himself, which I thought was really wise as well.
Yes.
And yeah, I think he was just left with what's he going to do now? And that was up to him. It's something he had to find himself, but they didn't answer it. They supported him, listened, validated him. Yeah, it was very good.
Yeah, I think that's the other word, supported him through that confusion that he was having. I think as parents, or looking after young children and teenage children, we can benefit from that, how to handle this sort of conversation when a child is going through confusion. Even if we don't understand what he's going through, just be there, listen, and acknowledge and validate his yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that's missing. And I just think validation, such an acknowledgement, is such a lack everywhere.
Yes.
It's a lack in the workplace. It's a lack. We really haven't been taught to do that.
That's right. And I'm learning now. Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah. And sometimes I do forget. Sometimes I don't even realize this was the moment of acknowledgement and validation, but I'm improving.
So am I. I'm right down the bottom of this.
Me too.
But I'm mindful of it. And when I see myself not do it, I think, especially with the children, because it's like, do this, don't do it. But instead of saying, just, that was a really good question. Thanks for asking. And you're just so wonderful. Thanks for doing all of this for me this morning. But how about, or whatever we're meant to be doing. And I've even been challenged with validation that just some of the things I've done with my children raising up. I think, oh my gosh, Anyway, I'm working on rectifying that now because I understand the power of it. Powerful.
Yeah.
So powerful, yeah.
And I'm getting better at it, I would say. I reflect a lot and I see, oh, I could have done this, I could have done that. And next time I try to do it better. Yeah. I'll read through the 1 minute insights.
Sure.
Would a mentor help take you to the next, pause, reflect and learn. Would a mentor help take you to the next level? So we can ask ourselves this. Setting an intention to get help is an important first step in the mentoring process. A mentor doesn't necessarily have to be your chosen field. From your chosen field. As you search for a mentor, make sure you turn over every stone. Think about former supervisor, college alumni, teachers, professor, neighbors, friends, family, company programs, professional associations, volunteer organizations, and online organizations. So basically where we can find our mentor. Keep an open mind, keep an open eye. Our session will close in 10 minutes. We will use the
Yeah.
same link to get back on.
Yes.
Shall we move on to the next chapter, which is Who
Sure.
Me, a Mentor?
Yeah.
Anything that stood out for you in this chapter that's a takeaway, or questions, or?
Well, the thing I liked is she went to that man, I think Warren, that was her her boss in the very beginning.
Yeah.
And he didn't advise her again. I think he was a great coach in the fact that I wrote down the questions he said. She was saying, I'm thinking I want to retire because I'm so busy and I've got this and this is happening. And he said, so he asked her, well, what's your thinking behind that? You try to get her to answer the questions and do you want to be full-time retired? No, not really. And if you look after the children only, what else? And he said, what do you see yourself doing if you retire? So he just gave a question. So she didn't walk away. And then he advised her, maybe you should do some mentoring or consulting. And she didn't agree with him. And she said she hadn't always agreed with him through the process, but she goes away and thinks about it. And the other thing is he talked about intention, and intention's powerful. I have a formula, it's called intention, mechanism, result. And I got trained in this years ago. When your intentions are clear, the mechanism will appear. So if you start putting it out there, something's going to show up. And he said, and I know Buckminster Fuller said, always, be aware at the corner of your eye just what's happening once you have this intention in place, because things start to come to you. And I give an example of that. So I live in a high rise in the city in Newcastle, and we've got this pub across the road, and it's noisy, and I think they need to raise the bar and get away with all the riffraff and maybe make it more like a jazz or a over 55s, where people want to come and listen to classical music and not all of this other stuff, and all that stuff. So anyway, they had an invite for us to come because there's been a few complaints. So anyway, I thought I'll go over. I went over on my own. And for some reason, the two owners of the business sort of came and spoke with me. I don't know, me. I mean, everyone was in there. And I just openly talked to them about, it's really hard living across the road from here. You've had police, you've had, and I haven't made a complaint, but I have thought about selling because of what goes on at 3 a.m. in the morning, which is just, I don't think it's necessary. I don't think the doors should even be open at that time. Anyway, as we were talking, and because my intention, I just went there to be open and honest, but my new intention is coaching. My niche is going to be businessmen, men that have never been able to be free to really get. And the owner of the business is one. I've just got a new client.
Awesome, that's great. Congratulations.
Yes, but I'm just saying it was just intention. I'm really very clear now on who my market is, and because he was talking about that, just make your intention. He said you'll be amazed what'll show up, and and be mindful out of the corner of your eye. Everything that goes on, think about what's going on.
Yeah.
Make the most of those opportunities and embrace them. Anyway, yes, sorry, went off there. So your intention's powerful.
It is powerful. Love it.
So that's what I got very.
I didn't take notes on this one, so I'm thinking that I was just reading more like a story there. Sort of taking note about. 1 minute insight, pause, reflect, and learn. Have you avoided becoming a mentor because you think it's too much time? Being a mentor, while it requires regular communication, it isn't a full-time job. Most people are energized by their mentoring relationships. You likely will be as well. By setting the intention to find a mentee, you will become more open to potential mentoring partnerships all around you. The example that you were giving, setting the intention and keeping our mind and eye open. Yeah.
And I think yes, I would say yes. Am I, mentoring, absolutely. No, I don't think it takes a lot of my time. You like me, or we're doing coaching because clearly we think it's our path. And I think when you find your path, that's why in the chapter 1 I thought you're not on the right.
Yeah,
you're not on the
right track. Yes.
Yeah, and because when you are, you feel energized. Like I don't ever think, oh no, I got to get on this call, or I look forward to all this stuff, and I love working with people that are also working to change their lives. And like we're not perfect, and we're working on becoming the best version of ourselves. So yeah, I don't have an issue with it. I think we need a mentor. We're lucky that we have each other. You're obviously, I don't know where you are in the coaching institute, but you're probably further afield than I am, and I can learn from you as well. And so I think it's fabulous and I love it.
Same here. I'm loving the journey as well already.
Yes.
There is so much, I think, just the discussion brings up, and mentorship brings up. And I do believe it doesn't take too long, and it rejuvenates and energizes us as well. Like the way this
Absolutely.
lady, what's her name? Diane, that she would find her sort of purpose at the age of 60 again, where she started feeling a bit down and didn't know which way to move, and she realigned herself. So that was really good.
Yeah.
The next chapter.
And
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
yes, I haven't read the next chapter, sorry.
So in that case, should we leave it?
Yeah, we'll leave it here. I thought we just read to number 3.
Yes, yeah, that was number 3. That's correct. Yes. So we'll leave it up to there, and then what's coming up would be very exciting, where we can do some exercise, which would be like setting our mission and vision for this group, and for our life, and how it aligns with our leadership coaching, leadership book reading clubs purpose and vision as well. So I'm really, really looking forward to that.
Yes, no, that's wonderful. So is it, so I don't think I did that. Did you want me to put that forward, my purpose?
No,
vision?
I didn't either. Let's do it together, because
Okay.
The rest of the team, they did ask for the recording, and then I said, okay, we will record it from next class, then they can listen to it. So
okay.
as we develop those mission and vision and align them with our own in the session, I think that would be a good exercise for us, and they can listen to that as well.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
Okay, well, I'll see you next week, and we read 3, 4, and 5.
Yep. Yes, so we did 3 already, so 4, 5, and 6.
I mean 4, 5, 6.
And
yes.
I will upload the pages as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
If there's anything you need help with, just please reach out.
Reach out.
Yeah, please reach out. Don't hold yourself back, and communicate in the group
chat
as
group.
well. Yes, because otherwise it's just me talking and nobody. I'm like feeling like talking to a wall, and my energy dies out. So it's all of our responsibility to keep the flame alive. Otherwise, sure. I'm like, okay, what's happening? Everybody's checking, but nobody's commenting. What happens being a natural, human? You just the energy dies out. And as leaders, because we want to, sort of grow in this, we have to push ourselves to champion each other.
Yes. No, good point. And I'll make sure I respond all week.
Yeah, and then respond every now and then. You don't have to do all of it. Respond every now and then, and respond in the group so that others are inspired to respond as well. Be the first follower, or what is it called? I have to look at the term again, and I'll discuss that. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks for arranging this, and I'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Bye.